If you don't like the way your class is playing mechanically, you should find another class. Hey all, it's Nim or Nimicry if you're feeling professional, and welcome to the YouTube video. Now today we're going to be talking about Blizzard on class design progress for the Dragonflight Beta. The design iteration phase is over. They're moving on to tuning and bug fixes. But before we do that, if you like what I do in specific, or you like what the channel does in general, go on and hit subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with everything the channel does. Additionally, drop some comments below, tell me what you want to see in relation to World of Warcraft. Odds are, I'll probably end up making it. After all, the audience tends to have the best idea for content. Now, without further ado, let's talk about Blizzard's class design and beta progress, because this is a big deal. So, Blizzard has provided an update on class design on the Dragonflight Beta, noting that the design iteration phase is mostly over, and now they're focusing on tuning and bug fixes. So, meaning, if you don't like the way your class is playing mechanically, you should find another class. Not saying they won't make changes, especially throughout the expansion, because we must remember, back in Castle Nathria, Unholy Death Knights were absolute monsters. Everybody wanted them because they were strong, their toolkit worked. In fact, it worked so well they had to nerf anti-magic zone, if I remember correctly. So let's read what Blizzard said, and then we can go into this a little bit more. So, Blizzard, of course, we feel it would be useful to let everyone know where we are in the development of Dragonflight classes and talent design. With the next beta build, /PTR build, we're transitioning away from spending the majority of our time on the design iteration of the new talent trees. And we're now primarily focused on fixing bugs and tuning the game. This includes balancing talent choices against each other and tuning the throughput of each class. We want to ensure that we release an expansion of the highest quality for this incredible community. Okay, so I do believe that last sentence. I do believe that everybody wants to release a great game. Nobody wants them to be like, oh, we put out a subpar effort. Haha. I don't believe there's anybody who thinks that, especially with all the work that goes into the game. As for the talent trees, right? That's gonna there's a lot of choices. You know, right now we have a grid. You pick one, you get 7, 8 choices, I believe. I forget exactly how many talents. It's been a while since I've gotten new talents, but the idea is I pick one every so many levels, and then that's it. And granted, they're very powerful because of the fact that I only get one every so many levels. This next talent trees, as we've gone over a few, you get a lot more choices. But the choices don't feel all that powerful. But I guess it makes sense because, again, more choices. The class trees, I think by and large, I'm going to be honest, are a bit of a disappointment. I think it's a cool idea. I just wish it made the class stronger or performed differently as opposed to taking away things. So, again, as a paladin, I could potentially not have Devo Aura. Okay, you know who had Devo Aura as a paladin? Arthas. So as a paladin, I could potentially not have Lay on Hands. I've had Lay on Hands since Vanilla. It was an hour cooldown back then. But I've had it since Vanilla. Not really a good feeling. That being said, I'm not slagging them. I'm not slagging the Blizzard class devs off for trying new things. It's cool to try new things. I don't like the class trees. I think it's bad, but okay. This is cost of doing business. As for the individual talent trees, some of the classes, some of the specs seem, I'm gonna go with unfinished. And maybe as gear comes in, as other effects come in, as other systems might come in. Now, they did say they're stepping away from borrowed power, so I don't know how much we're going to have to work with. But maybe as stats come in and you get stronger gear, some of the, let's say, holes in the class or holes in rotation can be papered over via stats. Again, I believe that can happen. And especially since they're said they're focused on fixing bugs and tuning the game, including balancing talent choices against each other and throughput of class. So this is where we build the meta. So let's say you're fortunate enough to have a class that you find mechanically enjoyable to play. Great. Fantastic. I want you to have that all the time. Now, the devs are going to tune its performance against other classes. I do want to mention that even if your class is not the meta, odds are it's still going to be fine. And when you run with your guild, and you should run with a guild, because that way you can learn who you can rely on and how you can play with other people, and it's fine. It's a social game. Play with a guild. It's way less stressful than Pug Life. It's way less stressful. At least according to me. Some people may say it's more stressful. Okay, whatever. That's you. Do you. But even if you're not in the top spec, you're going to be great eventually. You're going to do a lot of damage. No spec that I can think of has been at the bottom of every patch. I mean, maybe in Shadowlands Feral Druid, maybe, but then again, I don't know. I don't really follow Feral Druid. I know Feral Druid seems to be like a meme spec, kind of like Survival. But Survival Hunters were at one point very strong. Marksman was strong in the first patch, and then they stopped the double legendary proc, and they fell, but that was a bug. Anyways, that being said, the new talent systems constitute a tremendous change to the game and represent a fundamental overhaul to how classes and specializations are customized by players. Exactly, we're going to have way more choices than the 8 or 9 or 7 or 8 choices we have. And while those choices, individual choices, won't be quite as substantial, the class talent tree absolutely will. Because, for example, as let's say I was a Holy Paladin, I can talent into an Interrupt, but I also have to talent into a Cleanse. Tell me, what healer is not going to talent into a Cleanse? Just out of curiosity. You have the ability to talent into a Cleanse. What healer's not going to talent into a Cleanse? It's a weird thought. But, again, it is our expectation we'll be making adjustments based on your feedback throughout the expansion's lifetime. Absolutely. They'll see feedback, there'll be more tuning and more changes, and there may even be some class changes on major patches, you know, your 10.1, your 10.2, your 10.3. We greatly appreciate all of your testing and feedback thus far, and we're looking forward to delivering improvements to all the talent trees and content updates throughout Dragonflight. And again, that last sentence is a catch-all to be like, hey, you know, maybe this wasn't working out as we liked, or oh, we want to go a different direction with this class, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Think about this. One of the only constants in WoW, there are two constants. One, the forums will be upset, and two, the game will change. So enjoy it while you can. If your class that you thought you were going to play is not mechanically fun, pick something else or learn and adapt. But ultimately, the meta will shift, and it'll be set in stone for a patch, and then new patch will come, there'll be some tuning, new meta, and there we go. So what I'm going to say about that is that if the meta is always changing, you know, every few months, just play what you want and get things done. Odds are you're going to be fine. In order to get your maximum Mythic Plus reward, what do you need? A 15. Right? That's your maximum Mythic Plus reward, and I guess 20 if you want the teleports, but still, every class can do a 15. And not every player can, but that comes from self-improvement and getting better. Anyways, guys, tell me what you think below, and I want to ask a question for the comments. What spec do you think is going to be bottom DPS? I'm going to go with Shadow Priest. That's my guess. Now, I don't have the beta. I can't say anything, and they are tuning numbers, but I think Shadow Priest is going to be the bottom DPS for the first patch. Could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below which one you think. Of course, if you enjoyed this video or you like what I do specifically, go on and hit subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with everything the channel does. Additionally, I stream on Twitch every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for now, and that's at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We may be changing the schedule, and I'll make sure to have that in videos and in the description down below. For those who are social media inclined, we have a Twitter here. You can always follow that, and that's at Nimicry. It's a great way to connect with me. I see it right away, goes right to my phone, and I get it. So that'll be that. Additionally, for those who want to parse at rank 1 as a viewer, there's always Patreon. Patreon is a great way to support the channel and to support small creators like myself. We did additionally add a new micro vlog that I put out once a week for Patreon, or for patrons only. So you can check all that out at patreon.com/Nimicry. Ultimately, this was a good video to make because this tells us that the beta is progressing nicely. Now, do I think I should have beta access? Of course, of course. In fact, I'd like to see an open beta, just so everybody can get in there and get their stuff done. But I doubt there'll be an open beta. Anyways, this was a good video to make, and I enjoyed making it. I hope you enjoyed it as well, and may the mount you're farming drop on the first kill.